All right, welcome to the coffee break, episode number 102. Thank you very much for joining today. As usual, that's a very open space. Any questions, projects, whatever you're working on. And I don't know if you wanna raise your hand, ask any questions, feel free. Otherwise, what else are you up to this last couple of weeks? Hi, Adam. Hi, me.
Hello.
Hello.
I need to go and refill my coffee, so I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, it's time. I had my second shot already, so energized. All right, any questions or topics? Any projects? I know that from our side, we are getting more and more excited with the SDKs that we are releasing. Have any of you had the chance to try them? Let me grab my screen here. Oh, yeah. Share. Where is it? There we go. So I'm not sure if you have seen this. We're releasing new SDKs. There have been some improvements and changes to make it better, but the .NET are there. TypeScript is also there in beta, and we're always improving them to make it better for you to use. We'll be making some changes on the authentication piece. That was one of the feedback we got. So, but also lots of interesting pieces, feedback they're getting from community, from developers like yourselves. So thank you for that. So are you using that? Have you used this new version? Any feedback or any questions?
Hey, Gusto.
Hey, hi, Tyler.
Yeah, I've been using the .NET SDK,
Cool.
but the project that I was using it on got put on pause, so it's been a minute since working on that, but it has been going well so far. It takes a
Great.
little bit
Glad
of
to hear.
getting used to from switching, but
That's a good point, right? So take some time, but switching from the old version or switching from a different provider. Are you using SDKs from other APIs as well, or just this, or just Autodesk?
no, switching from the old
Okay,
Forge NuGet package to the
yeah.
new SDKs.
So I think the main difference, and that was intentional, right, is to make sure that the SDK now is fully I forgot the word now. It's has all the variables, right? You don't have to use dynamic all the time. So now everything is fully described. So you can count on IntelliSense, you can count on autocomplete because the code really knows all the attributes and all the responses. So it's a bit better. Yeah, great.
Yep, it's a lot better than using dynamic.
Yeah, thank you. All right. What else? So I think I have something that as well here from our side. Uh, I also asked that a few times before. Are you still using SVF1 on your projects in your view? A viewer with SVF1. Are you using SVF2 or SVF1? Or are you using viewer at
SVF2
all?
for us.
Yes. Okay. Luis, I think you have design automation, right? You don't have anything viewer related, do you? I recall from previous coffee breaks. Yeah, so one of the benefits of SVF2, well, there are lots and lots of benefits, right? So it's a newer technology, so there are lots of improvements. We've been doing this series of posts on benefits, performance updates. So that's the part 3, is smooth navigation. There is two more on caching and faster loading, speedier loading. Um, so if you are still using SVF1, no, it's time to move to SVF2. And if you are already using SVF2, be sure to use the latest version of the viewer. I think now should be 99 or something like that. And to leverage those things, right? So there is better and better features there. So now it's the idea that you can rotate and do it faster. So that was before, and you can see that there is this delay there. And if I go to the newer version, that we can enable this feature. And let me get there. Just fast forward. Yeah, there is less movement around, so it's getting better and better. Now, I think the important piece is use SPF2. Be sure to be with the latest version of the viewer whenever possible. Of course, make all the testing, and whenever you test, be sure to hard code to that version. But always use the latest version. That will always be better. And there is, of course, some explanation here.
I've got a question in regards to the speed of the viewer. A couple of coworkers have used Blazor, and with Blazor, you have the JavaScript interop, and they said that using Three.js and that when they had to load a bunch of models in it, the speed was not very good. Have you ran into any of that, or?
Is that comparing to okay, first question, right? So you said you're using Blazor is for desktop application, right? With did I get this right?
Web application, yeah.
Okay. When they say it's the speed is lower, is comparing to a non-Blazor application or in general?
Compared to a different front end that's JavaScript based.
Okay, so there is something on Blazor that is probably causing this. That could be causing this.
Right,
No.
because they have that like it's motorcycles driving by. They have that JavaScript interop to connect the Three.js library to the C# running Blazor.
Okay, interesting. I've never seen that one. Adam, Jaime, or Kevin, have you seen this? Anyone report anything with Blazor?
Not really, actually. I'm looking into Blazor, but I don't. I can pass it over to the viewer team, so that way they can also test out. Maybe they can find one of the reasons that's causing this issue. Can I ask you if you can send me maybe some information about it, a little bit more details, and that way I can pass it over to the team?
Yeah, I can get more details. I just heard it secondhand from a coworker
Yeah,
of mine
so
that said they switched.
get more details, send it to the APS help and CC me on it, and that way I can catch it and then just pass over that case to the viewer team. And I'm gonna have probably someone like Peter or Michael reach back with more information about it. Maybe they are aware, and maybe they have already something ready for that, and then we can help out investigate as well.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, typically the viewer will access the browser cache memory directly, but maybe they are competing for the same resource that could be causing some issues there. Something to investigate. Yeah. I also don't see anything on our internal conversation on viewer internal channel, right? I don't see anything on Blazor there, so maybe that was not appeared before. Have not appeared before. But in the meantime, a suggestion would be to ensure that you have the latest version of the viewer, because if there is any update or any improvement, that will be there, right? With the latest version. Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
All right. What else? We should soon have more updates on ACC as well, but there is a lot of new stuff coming up there. Are you guys using ACC or ACC APIs? I see you, Alex, nodding.
Alex
So
is-
any
Yep,
Any-
yep. Just a bit for now.
okay.
We are using issues, forms, and so on, so
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Just The roadmap is to make more deep integration between our system and ICC. So for now it's just quite not so much.
My bad. So typically on ACC, we have minor improvements here and there. Also some new APIs, right? It's a kind of semantics, right? So if ACC is built of many modules, so whenever there is a new API, there is a new module coming up to the family of ACC APIs. But in many cases, we have updates, new features added into that, right? So this is the exporting sheets to PDF. So it's part of the Sheets API that is already there, but now we have the ability to export. So minor update, if you think about it. And we keep adding those features. And it's always good to get your feedback on what are the features missing. I know that we have a few more coming now. AU is upon us, so there will be lots of interesting things to announce at AU. So we have lots of things there. So that's for you, Alex, but for everyone, right, as well. If you have any feature that you're looking for, always send that to us. Having that feedback or having that information from you always help us to prioritize what is important. Which is an interesting point, right? Have you seen this roadmap that we have publicly available? So under community, APS roadmap that is under consideration, in progress, released. And if you haven't seen this, the idea here is that we post what we are working on, but also what is under consideration. And you can vote for that if you believe this is important. You can also submit, propose a new thing, right? Click on the plus idea, and submit a new idea we're going to review. And but you can vote for features, right? So that helps us prioritize what is important to you as well. So it's not like completely you have a feedback accounted for. We have seen this. Let me share the link. Copy here. Cool. All right. As usual, I'm talking too much. Any questions from you or anyone? Any questions or topics you want to bring up?
Well, we have AU coming up in a couple of.
Oh yeah.
No. So anyone from here going to AU this year? Nobody. Come on. It's gonna be in San Diego.
It's San Diego. It's a nice weather. It's not
Yeah,
as dry as Las Vegas. So
true.
yeah. I've been to San Diego once for vacation. So when I got there, so I was going with my family, right? So I got this Airbnb, and the guy there that was renting the apartment to us. When I arrived there, I said, "Yeah, when we were just coming for a week for vacation," and he said, "Yeah, I came here for a week for vacation and end up staying." So it did felt like a very nice place. So yeah.
A lot of surfers and hippies there for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Let's see what else. What else do we have? Any new exciting things coming that we can give a taste of it to some of the attendees?
Yeah, we did a lot of announcements, right? So
Yeah.
new stuff coming up.
I'll just mention that there's some new data exchange connectors. So I just put a
Oh.
link in the chat window.
Nice.
So it's not so much API side, but new connectors using the data exchange.
What are the new connectors? Power BI? Cool.
Power BI has been there, but they got a new version of it. And then I think the AutoCAD connectors are now in public beta. So those are new. And then an updated Revit 2025 connector.
Connector and some in private beta like that right now.
That is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. So having all the one of the beauties about data exchange is that every new connector connects to all of the existing connectors, right? So it's a multiplier effect because you can just move data between one and the other. So it's very powerful. And what relates to the APIs is that as there is an API, right, you can always connect to your system. So and sometimes you just want to reuse that build on top of existing infrastructure and add your own little piece, right? So yeah, it's always a multiplier multiplier effect.
Yeah, I think, from data exchange, perspective in the realm of data models, it's unique in that it has the GraphQL piece, but it also has an independent SDK, which allows you to be able to create your own connector and connect to whatever you want with the data. So lots of flexibility there too.
So this is on public beta right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't played with this yet. What kind of tutorials do we have available about this?
There's a tutorial there. There's two samples that one's with the UI and one's without. The nice thing about the SDK is that it does come with a UI that matches the ACC environment. So if you use our UI, it does a lot of work for you. So it has all the terminology there, and it will connect to ACC docs for you, and does authentication and things like that. So it makes it very easy. And yeah, right there's an example of the UI.
So what would be, for example, kind of like an ideal scenario for someone to consider the use of something like data exchange?
Well, it's meant to do exactly what it says, right? Exchange data with other consumptions. So I think any place where you want to share data with someone else, and you can also subset data, so it doesn't have to be the entire model. So when we're talking about Revit, for example, you could just share the concrete or the walls or whatever, and it becomes the central repository for that, and you can connect to it from other sources as you want. So early on, we were talking about, like with Power BI, you could connect and get takeoff information, figure out how much area all the walls have, or maybe how much volume of concrete you may need, and you can just share those components that need that kind of analysis. So it's very flexible and a lot of possibilities there. Yeah.
I think to your question, Jaime, it's really about pushing and pulling data, right? From in this case, just pulling data. You cannot push back yet, but you can pull data from one of the data sources to your system, and that will be as granular as you want. And also you can enable that to be real time. So as soon as you update, right, it can do real time, right, Kevin? I think it's live as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's using the publish, format or publish workflow. So you have to kind of publish your updates. But yes, as soon when you go through that workflow, it's going to update the central model, and there's versioning and differencing and all of that kind of capability. And we do have write capability now. So using the SDK, you can actually write an exchange. So this is what our partners are using as well. And a good example there is like the Rhino connector and the Tekla, and what's the other one? There's one more, but we're actually having some of our partners write those connectors for us, and that's helping to validate the SDK itself, but also giving our community of certified developers, experience with these things.
That's cool.
That's great. Thanks, Evan.
Yeah.
I see we have someone else that joined. Jonathan, how are you? You're muted. From the phone, it's always difficult with this thing.
Yeah, to find the unmute, right?
Yeah.
Tap to speak, apparently. There's a button there. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are a bit quiet today, so we're asking if you guys have any other questions to bring
Or
up
topics,
our
or
topics. Yeah.
yeah, just
I-
going on vacation.
I was wondering, I was looking at the search endpoint for projects. So data management project search. And because I was trying to make sure that my functions worked with pagination and, you know, getting the first 50 and so on. And I was trying to set the limit for like 5 to see that I get, you know, the first 5-10 results, then the next one till the end. And then it didn't work for some reason. Whatever I set there, and I saw, I mean, I looked at the documentation and there's a section about quotas and limitations, but I didn't see at the documentation of the endpoints any reference to limit.
The endpoint that you're talking about for the search, is it within data management, right? So the
Yeah.
folder search, this one.
Yeah. So it does talk about there is a maximum number of pages, 49. But I think what you are getting there, and I think I remember seeing this before, because of the way we paginate, it's possible that a page may have less than the number of results you're expecting, right? Less than the size you're expecting per page. So you say that you can specify that you want, I don't know, 20, 50 results per page, but you may be getting 30 results per page because so the system search for the thing you're looking for. Go onto the folder, get the files, and then filter by what you're looking for, and then gives you that back, right? So the system gets 50 results, filter out, and send you, I don't know, 30, right? So the first page may have 30 instead of the 50 that you're asking for.
I'm not sure this is how it works. Because I had the, like, in one project I was looking for Revit files. Just give me file types Revit, and I had like 250 results, and I get them as 100 bulk. I get 100, and then the last 53. And when I set limit to 50, I still get the 153.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So if you're specifying the limit, it should not be higher than the limit. All right, so we probably have to dig on that one. Can you send us so okay, moving back here. Whenever you do a query, on the response, there is something called X response ID. That is the unique ID for that query. So let me write this down. X response ID. So if you can share with us this X response ID and the query that you are looking for, that you're running, we can confirm what's happening, right? So the response ID that comes on the response, on the header of the response, help us track down that specific query and give us the example so we can confirm. And then we can look on the logs to see what is happening there. So on our logs, we see the path that your request run through our system. We can see the data, you can just see how it's running. So maybe that will help us identify what's happening.
The X response ID should be like the first bit of
it's on the header of the response, on the header, not on the body, on the header.
Okay, so because what I've saved as a file starts with the JSON API version 0.1. That's actually before that, right?
Yeah, that's the body, right? So you get something like this, right? That's the body.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking for the headers. So response.headers or something along these lines.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. I'll have a look.
If you're using if you're running like a debug, whenever you get the response, hover the response object, right, and you can expand that and see the header. Or if you're running through Postman, you can also see the response headers on Postman.
Yeah, I gave up on Postman. But okay, that's. I'm sure I'll find it. But the search endpoint isn't different than any other endpoints in the sense that it has a limit and pagination, right? All of them do.
Yeah. Oh, so there is a limit on how many times you can call. That's rate limiting right here. So
Okay.
yes, there is. So rate limit should be here somewhere. Where is it? Search here, right? So that's the how many times you can call that. So that's one thing. Second thing is whenever you do pagination, you can. There is always a limit on how many items per page.
Yeah.
That should be there, right?
Yeah, and then I get the next URL and so forth. And
yes.
Okay, and how do I avoid hitting the rate limit? Because I've then looked at IDs of folders and parent folders, etc. And there were a few occasions when I noticed I got the response that I'm over the quota.
Yeah. So rate limit, it will happen, right? So eventually you hit the limit, right? So 429, that's the response code for rate limit. You can't avoid that. You have to handle that, right? So whenever you get a 429, that should be a header that says retry after. And that tells you how many seconds you have to wait until the next retry, until the next call. So your code.
So basically, I need to look in my code for 429.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then
right. So
if I
yeah. So the new SDKs we're doing in .NET and TypeScript, they have a built-in retry logic. So whenever you get a 429, the SDK will automatically wait until that amount of seconds and retry. But if you are using a different code, it's essentially whenever you get 429, look at the header, wait that number of seconds and retry.
Okay, thank you.
So there is a what's the name? Resiliency site. Yeah, so there is this blog post I wrote a while back with some ideas on infrastructure and in regards to APS rate limit, right? So every service will have rate limit. It's there, and it will be 429. Just look for the retry after header and wait that amount of seconds.
Okay. Thank you.
Share this one. Cool. And with that, we are just on time. Oops, back here. Let me share again this right there, right? Just on time. As usual, thank you very much for joining. And next coffee break will be in 2 weeks, same time, same link. And yeah, thank you very much for joining today and hope to see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for all the questions and the discussion today. It was very good. Thanks, Jaime.
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Thank
Adam
you.
already left. Alex,
Bye-bye.
Jonathan.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.